seen so far out of Cam? Obviously, maybe a little bit more work today with a couple of moving targets.
Yeah, I mean, everything from Cam going forward has been great. He's put a lot of work coming post, having the procedure that he had on his shoulder. He's trying to put himself in a position to be as good as he can be. Okay, and he's worked hard to get to this point. I think have him to get out there, show the enthusiasm. Throwing the ball. I think he's throwing well. He's doing a nice job.
You guys wanted to tweak some things when you and Norv came in last year mechanically. What specifically did you guys tweak, and now he can pick up obviously where y'all left off?
Well, it started specifically, last year just with his footwork of just keeping compact, make sure his feet and his eyes were working together. And that's where we really started. And then, it's carried over into this offseason as far as just making him a little bit more compact up in his upper body, a little bit more, closed off. I don't know if you mean by that, but just so he's not as open throwing the ball, and just to make him as efficient as possible, and putting the least amount of stress. Now you're going to put stress on your arm. You're throwing a football. It's not a natural movement, but as little as we can, on his shoulder, just to take care of him.
And if you're sorry, go ahead.
Do you think his former throwing mechanics may have added to any of his shoulder issues?
I don't know. It's hard for me to say. I mean, I've coached a lot of quarterbacks, and I haven't really ever coached one that doesn't have some issues with their shoulders. I mean, like I said, you look at pitchers, you look at NFL quarterbacks, throwing overhand is not a natural movement, so you're going to get some wear and tear on the shoulder. So I don't know if it's how he threw or is any different, than guys I've had in the past. But I do know that going forward, and Cam is fully committed to doing everything he can to, make him the best player he can be, and then also just take care of himself.
When you're throwing more compact, does that also kind of minimize some of the risk you can get when you do get a hit there?
No, it's not so much with the hitting. It all just has to do with the overall throwing mechanics.
Early assessments on Will Grier.
Will's been great. The hardest thing for a young quarterback is just playing at the speed of the NFL. Learning a new playbook and then being able to process and move through it in real time. And I've seen strides from him every day. He's a hard worker. He's in there. Extra rookies, we got a chance to meet with them a little more, so he's taking advantage of that. And really happy with Will and what he's done so far.
Pretty involved with his pre-draft process. Any interesting anecdotes from the pro day?
No, not really. I mean, we looked at a bunch of guys. We weren't gonna, we didn't feel like we were gonna reach or get one, but we wanted to have a great evaluation on all these guys. So if there was a spot we felt comfortable taking one, we knew all we needed to, and fortunately for us, that worked out with Will.
Scott,
it's
it's just a
little.
little.
About last year, how when the arm got sore, that his mechanics kind of went back to his old flaws, I guess you would say, in that. How do you get that memory point to where he doesn't revert back to that?
I think, just the commitment level from right when the season ended this past year. I mean, obviously once he could start doing stuff after the procedure, but that just committing yourself to it, and it's not that different. It's really not that different. He's still throwing the ball. It's just as far as like his setup, the way he starts, and just being more closed off. So it's not that much different, and the work from now until the season is what's going to build that muscle memory.
Scott, you're familiar with Taylor Heinicke, but what have you seen from him this offseason as he comes back from that injury?
Well, Taylor's been great. He's been full go since he came back. Obviously, you have a lot of experience with Taylor. He's been the same guy. He's always been the same guy every day. Sharp. Great helping. He's helped Will. All our guys in the quarterback room help each other. It's competition, but they're working together, and it's a great camaraderie that way. But Taylor's a huge part of that.
Ron mentioned just a little bit with Cam yesterday the eyes matching the arm and the footwork and everything, and he talked about decision making and moving forward. Does scheme help a little bit as well in terms of taking some stress off?
Well, I think so. I mean, it's easier to throw to open guys than cover guys, I think. So if we can get guys open for him, that's going to help him get the ball out. It's going to take less hits. The one thing that we worked on with him last year was just if it's not there, get the ball out of your hand. And obviously he did that with Christian and our tight ends and stuff. So scheme, and then just implementing in his head about the clock and working your eyes and feet through your progression and all those things.
Sorry to interrupt. Is that part of the reason why separation in other ways than just being big and tall has become a key trait that these guys have looked for when they're drafting playmakers to put around him? separation laterally and on routes and things
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we've always looked for that, though. I think we always look for the best players possible, and you kind of make them fit into your scheme, or you make your scheme fit for them. But we've been fortunate to add a couple guys that can do something with the ball, and those guys help them for
How
sure.
much do you attribute a couple more guys' accuracy improving last year to working on the mechanics versus just the scheme and what you guys were doing?
I think it's a combination. I think when your feet match your eyes, you're going to make decisions faster. You're not just scanning the field, and I think that. But I think also getting his footwork right or getting his feet consistent helped the ball go where he wanted it to go, and then just the mindset of getting the ball out of your hand is going to help your completion percentage.
Was it more his
Hey,
feet?
we do a couple more.
Was it more his feet versus getting his shoulder back more, or how?
It all is together. It's hard you can't say one or the other. The feet and your upper body, lower body when you're playing quarterback is all it all works. All works in unison.
When you talk about the feet, 'cause it occasionally looks like he's throwing off his back foot. Is that what you're trying to eliminate?
Yeah, weight transfer is a big part of it. The biggest thing though is having your hips, pointed in the direction of your throw, and like no different than like a baseball player hitting a baseball or a golfer swinging or a boxer. You know what I mean? You generate power with your lower body, so you want your lower body, to be moving in the direction of where you're throwing, and if it moves in the opposite direction, you put more stress on the upper body and you have to correct it with your arm. So just having everything working in unison, that's where it starts, the lower body, because when you not to get too technical, but you strike the ground with your back foot and you generate power, and then it moves through your hips into your upper body, and with your feet, if you put your weight on your back foot, the weight's not transferring and the power's not generating. Now, Cam's a big, strong guy, and he can still get the ball out there. But yes, we work on that. But sometimes, those guys are 300 pounds and they're right here. Your weight ain't going forward, so you gotta make it work a little bit. That's part of our game.